Welcome to Whisper of Heart, a place where stories breathe. Here, words are not just spoken. They live, they ache, they heal. In every corner of this world, there are voices, quiet, unseen, unheard. We listen to those voices and turn them into stories that touch the soul. Every week, we bring you tales of love and loss, courage and kindness, tragedy and hope. Because sometimes, it takes just one story to remind us that we're all connected. Maybe it's the story of a fire that tested a city, or a child who dared to dream beyond the impossible, or a moment of love found in the ashes of heartbreak. Here we don't chase headlines, we chase hearts. We slow down time so you can feel every heartbeat, every whisper, every truth. If you've ever looked at the world and wondered where did the kindness go, then this is your home. And share, because maybe someone you love needs this story today. This is Whisper of Heart, where stories live forever, and hearts never stay silent. It was still dark when it began. The clock had just passed 3 a.m. on January 10th, 2025. At first, it was just a faint glow in the hills, the kind that people might mistake for city lights. But within minutes, it grew bright, alive, and terrifying. The first 911 calls came in before dawn. Smoke near the hills. Flames getting bigger. Firefighters rushed out, sirens slicing through the quiet of Los Angeles. The wind howled, dry and merciless, feeding the flames like oxygen to anger. By sunrise, the sky wasn't blue anymore, it was red. Ash fell like snow. The smell of smoke spread miles away. People woke up confused, staring out their windows at a horizon burning in orange light. Families grabbed their pets, their children, their memories, whatever they could fit into cars before fleeing. Roads jammed with vehicles. Horns echoed like cries for help. The fire leapt over freeways, jumped across canyons, and turned palm trees into blazing torches. Firefighters tried to fight back, but the wind turned every victory into another defeat. Even seasoned professionals said, "We've never seen anything like this." Los Angeles, the city of lights, was now a city of fire. As the sun rose higher, the fire's reach grew wider. By mid-morning, it was no longer a distant blaze, it was knocking on Beverly Hills' door. A place of luxury, power, and fame was now a battlefield against nature. The homes of celebrities and business moguls stood no chance. Marble walls cracked, glass windows burst from heat, and manicured gardens turned to black dust. Helicopters thundered above, dumping water that hissed uselessly on the flames. Famous names flooded social media, some begging for help, others offering prayers. The sight was surreal. Movie stars in tears, holding their dogs, watching million-dollar homes crumble into ash. But in tragedy, the walls between rich and poor vanished. Neighbors, famous or not, held hands and helped one another. A musician shared water with a firefighter. A Hollywood producer offered his car to an elderly couple by noon. Reporters from around the world gathered at the city's edge. Images of burning mansions lit up TV screens everywhere. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. The same streets they'd seen in movies were now rivers of fire. The fire didn't care about fame. It burned everything in its path, equal and unforgiving. And while the rich lost fortunes, many working families lost everything they owned. Los Angeles was no longer divided by wealth or fame, only by fire and survival. As the fire moved deeper into the hills, it began consuming more than just homes. It devoured life itself. The mountains surrounding Los Angeles had always been alive with green. Oak trees, sagebrush, coyotes, birds, and deer. Now, all that life was fleeing from a monster of flame. Animals ran terrified across roads. Birds disappeared into the smoke-filled sky. Firefighters stumbled upon rabbits and pets hiding under burnt cars. One rescuer said softly, "They're scared, just like us." The landscape turned into a war zone. Blackened tree trunks stood like gravestones under a blood-red sky. The air was thick with ash, and even miles away, people could taste the bitterness of burnt earth. Hospitals filled with patients struggling to breathe. Doctors wore masks, nurses coughed through long shifts, and parents kept their children indoors. praying the air would clear. Environmental experts called it one of the worst fires in decades, not only because of the damage to homes, but because of what it did to nature. Thousands of acres of forest gone, animals displaced. And yet, in the middle of all this, firefighters still risked their lives to save a fawn or carry a scared dog to safety. The hills that once gave Los Angeles its beauty now cried under the weight of smoke and silence. By the fifth day, exhaustion set in. The fire had burned through neighborhoods, forests, and lives. Firefighters hadn't slept, their faces blackened with soot, their eyes red from smoke. Power lines were down. Thousands of people sat in darkness, no electricity, no communication, no sense of safety. But when tragedy grows, so does kindness. Volunteers poured in from across the country. Restaurants cooked for churches turned into shelters. People donated blankets, food, even toys for children who had lost everything. Celebrities used their fame to help raising money, opening homes, giving strength. A-list or unknown, everyone became family in those burning nights. Helicopters flew day and night, their rotors echoing like a heartbeat of hope above the chaos. Ground crews fought with hoses, each drop of water a symbol of defiance against the inferno. But every time they gained ground, the wind would shift and the fire would rise again. Louder, stronger, crueler, still, no one gave up. Because that's what Los Angeles does. It fights, it survives, it rebuilds. Underneath the smoke and chaos, there was something unbreakable, a city refusing to be defeated. Weeks later, when the last flame finally died, the silence was haunting. The hills that once glowed with city lights were now gray scars under a pale sky. More than 4,000 homes were gone. Families returned to nothing but ashes. Some stood quietly, holding hands. Others wept for what couldn't be replaced. But amidst the pain, there was light. Volunteers helped clear debris. Strangers hugged in the streets. Children painted signs that said, "We'll rebuild." Experts said it would take years to recover, but they underestimated the spirit of Los Angeles. Within days, donations poured in, construction teams began planning. The city's heartbeat returned. From the ashes of tragedy rose unity, compassion, and resilience. The fire had destroyed so much, but it had also revealed something powerful. The soul of a city that refuses to break. Nature, too, began to heal. Tiny green sprouts appeared through the blackened soil. Birds slowly returned. And with them came a promise that life, no matter how burned, always finds a way back. The Los Angeles fire was a tragedy, but it was also a lesson that when fire tests humanity, love is always stronger. And that was today's story. Another whisper from the heart. Here at Whisper of Heart, we don't just tell stories. We share the moments that remind us what it means to be human. When the world feels too loud, we invite you to pause just for a moment and feel again. To remember that behind every tragedy, there's resilience. Behind every loss, there's love waiting to rebuild. Behind every silence, there's a whisper of hope. If this story touched your soul, don't let it end here. Let it move forward through you. Subscribe to join our family of listeners who believe in emotion over noise. Like this video if you felt even a heartbeat of truth, and share it because the story that healed you today might be the one that saves someone else tomorrow. We believe stories don't die when the video ends. They live on in memories, in hearts, in whispers, passed from one soul to another. So, thank you for being here, for listening, and for feeling. Your presence keeps this channel alive. Your empathy keeps our purpose true. Until next time, keep your heart open, keep your mind gentle, and remember, every whisper you hear, here is a heartbeat of humanity. This is Whisper of Heart, where stories end, but love never does.